Hi, this is Dave from Geekanoids.co.uk, and this is the third video in my series covering Apple's mid-2009 Apple MacBook Pro. I wanted to bring you this definitive review for new users to learn about the Apple MacBook Pro's features and performance, and for existing users who are maybe looking at upgrading to show you some of the new features Apple introduced. Now, just to clarify, the version we're looking at here has got a 15-inch screen. There are 3 different screen sizes available at present. You can get a 13-inch screen and they start at £899 in the UK. The 15-inch version, like this one, starts at £1,299, or if you're going for the largest of the laptops, you can get a gorgeous 17-inch screen with a 2.8 GHz processor, and that will set you back £1,849. Now, the one we're looking at here is the 15-inch 2.66 GHz Intel Core 2 Duo, and this costs £1,499. It's in the middle of the 15-inch range. For your money, you get 4 GB of RAM. You can turn the laptop upside down and you can gain access to the RAM and upgrade that to a maximum of 8 GB. You can do this yourself and your machine will still be in warranty. You can also gain access to the hard drive. You get a 320 GB serial ATA hard drive inside already, but if you do feel the need for more storage capacity, then you can certainly upgrade that yourself as well. You also get a built-in battery. You can no longer swap out the battery. If your battery runs out, you have to find a power point to recharge it. Now, Apple did this because of some new technologies they developed, and what they've managed to achieve with this laptop is a 7-hour battery life from a single charge. Now, my real-world experience of this is getting me round about 5 hours of battery life if I'm doing maybe some photo or video editing. But if I'm only surfing the internet and checking my emails, I am getting very near to that 7-hour mark. Also in this machine, you get 2 graphics cards. You get an NVIDIA GeForce 9400M, which uses 256 megabytes of shared memory, but you also get a 9600M GT, and this card offers up 256 megabytes of dedicated video memory. Now, you can't use the cards at the same time. You have to select which one you're going to use and you have to log in and out of the session to switch graphics cards. Now I'm going to show you the ports on the left-hand side of the Apple MacBook Pro. Now, some of you will be familiar with these, but I'm going to run through the whole lot so that new users get to learn some of the fantastic technology that Apple have built into their laptops. The first port here in the top left-hand corner is the MagSafe connector, and it's here that you plug in to charge your battery or to run your laptop from the mains. Now, Apple developed this new type of magnetic connector that's pulled into the body of the laptop, but it has a very special purpose. If somebody happened to trip over your wire, the MagSafe connector breaks away from the computer very easily. So although you get that secure connection for charging, if somebody did trip over your wire, your laptop wouldn't end up on the floor. Next along, we have an Ethernet port, and this is for connecting to a wired network. And then we have a FireWire 800 port. This is fantastic for connecting external hard drives that need a high data throughput. You can also connect things like FireWire hubs or perhaps a FireWire camcorder. Then we have a mini DisplayPort connector, and this is for connecting an external display such as Apple's Cinema display. But the cable that comes from this connector also allows power to be pulled through, and also something like a USB hub to be run all from the one connector. Then we have 2 USB 2 ports, and then I'll just skip this slot and come back to that in a short while, but these last 2 ports is an audio input and an audio output for something like some headphones. Then we have a small button here which we push, and the LEDs that light up show us the current battery charge. Now, this slot here that I skipped past a short while ago used to be an express card slot, but hardly any users used it. So what Apple have done is they've introduced an SD card slot where you can put a standard SD or SDHC memory card. This is fantastic for the current range of digital cameras and video cameras on the market. It allows you to pull your footage into something like iPhoto or iMovie. Now I've set my MacBook Pro up to automatically open iPhoto when I insert the memory card. And from here I can choose to import all of my video and photo footage that I shot earlier in the day. The SD card slot is very responsive, and the MacBook does a fantastic job of pulling in that content fairly quickly. Now for those of you who are unfamiliar with what you get for your money when you buy a MacBook Pro, you do get Apple's iLife suite of applications with any new purchase. And this includes iPhoto, which we're looking at now, which is used for managing and manipulating your photo library. You also get iDVD, and you also get iMovie and iWeb as well. This offers fantastic added value for money when you're purchasing one of Apple's range of laptops or their desktop computers as well. And I can strongly recommend using iPhoto for your photo management. It's a very good application, has a lot of very useful features, and I use it on a daily basis. As you can see, iPhoto processed all of that footage fairly quickly, and from here I can either look at some of the photos that I've taken, or I can even perhaps double click on some movie footage, and Apple's new QuickTime 10 player starts up, and I can play that footage back in a window, or I can pop it back into full screen. It's a very nice screen, very vivid colours, and the playback's very smooth as well. Now if you're not playing back footage that you've captured yourself, you can of course play back DVDs using the SuperDrive. Now this is located on the right hand side of the machine, and it actually allows you to play back DVD movies. You can also record onto CDs or dual layer DVDs or single layer DVDs. Now it's worth noting that the Apple SuperDrive does not yet support Blu-ray playback. Maybe this will come in a future revision, but at the moment you can only play back standard definition DVDs. When you insert a DVD, Apple's DVD player starts playing back the content straight away. Again, it performs this admirably, a very clear picture with punchy colours. And it's also worth noting that the speakers are very effective too. Now on the 13-inch MacBook Pro you can't visibly see the speakers, but on the 15-inch and 17-inch you get these speaker grills on either side of the keyboard. The sound produced by the Apple range of laptops far exceeds those on other laptops, and I think this is a real good feature to mention, because normally laptop speakers aren't really worth being in there at all, but these actually produce a good solid sound. One last feature that I'm going to mention in this review is the fantastic trackpad that Apple have put on their latest range of laptops. This trackpad is very large, and it's a glass trackpad that accommodates quite a wide area of the base of the laptop. You'll also note there's no visible buttons, and that is because the whole trackpad actually acts as a button. You can also assign different multi-touch gestures to the trackpad like you're seeing on screen now. You can assign a tap to click. You can assign even a secondary click. Perhaps you want to use this bottom right hand area of the trackpad to perform that secondary click. You can also use two fingers on the trackpad to scroll around photos. You can also use this gesture to actually rotate photos as well. And you can even use a pinch motion to zoom in and out on photos. If you're in something like an internet browser, you can actually zoom in on the whole screen. You hold down a modifier key and you can actually zoom in and out of a proportion of the screen. This is actually zooming the whole screen, so it's very useful indeed. And again, using two fingers you can also perform secondary clicks by clicking on the trackpad with two fingers. There's also a 3-finger swipe to navigate through photos. And you can also use 4 fingers to swipe up and down to use Apple's expose. And then there's a swipe left and right with 4 fingers, and this allows you to easily switch between different applications that are running. Well, in closing, I'm sure that you know by now I'm very impressed by Apple's latest Apple MacBook Pro. A lot of people have the argument that they cost a lot more than their PC counterparts. Well, this is true to a certain degree, but what you're getting by spending that extra money is a superb build quality and a far superior operating system. It's very stable, and instead of having to worry about maintaining your computer, you can just enjoy using it and being productive and creative at the same time. There's a wide range in the Apple MacBook Pro lineup, starting off with that base model, the 13-inch one, all the way up to the 17-inch. If you're considering purchasing a laptop today, then I can highly recommend the Apple MacBook Pro. Thanks very much for listening. Come back soon and check out more reviews on geekanoids.co.uk. This video review is sponsored by Academy Class, the UK's premier creative IT training centre, authorised by Adobe, Apple and Autodesk.